Before starting, let me ask you a question. What do you think when you see someone has perfect appearance with fluent English skills even better than you? Have you ever tried to find out their weaknesses to feel better? Like, oh, everyone thinks she is pretty, but I know she put her makeup for 2 hours every morning. What are they a brusher? If you have thought like this just once in your life, you're going to know how dangerous this thinking is. I was born in an ordinary family and I went to an ordinary high school. Fortunately, I went through my dream university. I started to study Chinese, which is my major in the university. At the first time, I was full of confidence. I thought I can be successful in my future if my life keeps going on like this. Contrary to my expectation, I was successful only when I was a freshman. I had to start to fight with horrible Chinese monsters. The monsters, they have been in China more than 10 years. The worst thing was the rule like only has 30% of students can get A grade in our school. When I tried to memorize textbooks, some of them often dodging off and playing cell phone during class. And since that time, I didn't want to study Chinese anymore because I knew no matter how hard I studied, I would get B or C grade. As I couldn't get a scholarship anymore, I had to depend on my parents. I was too sorry for my parents, and I was depressed. At the time, I thought, I'm not good at studying, I don't have any awesome experience, I'm too short, I have terrible nose and face shape, unlike my flawless friends. But after 2 years later from that time, now I'm satisfied with myself. Don't tell me you think I was changed by as time goes by. For last 2 years, I have strived to realize how important self-esteem is and how I can keep it strong. Have you ever wondered what self-esteem is? What do you think about this? Confidence? Strong ego? According to psychologists, self-esteem is the belief that you are worth to be loved and you're competent to make some achievement. As they said, if we had healthy self-esteem, although we are on the verge of failure, we can find another way with the respect for ourselves. Then, why is self-esteem important in our lives? Can't live in this world just with a confidence? I want to talk about the importance of self-esteem by analyzing some bad effects of low self-esteem. First, image-obsessed culture. Look at her please. Her name is Christine, and she is 15 years old. She uploaded a video on YouTube asking people if she is pretty or not. And when I searched, am I pretty on YouTube? There were more than 500,000 girls who were asking about their appearances. Do you think they have to be judged by other people? No, absolutely not. They are beautiful as themselves. People with strong self-esteem don't try to confirm themselves by others. Unfortunately, they are always doing this. This kind of acting makes us obsessed with appearance and prevents us paying attention to our inner voice. Second is overspending. Have you ever bought things you don't need just for feeling good? Yes. According to American psychologist Olivia Mellon, some people with low self-esteem often buy things impulsively, even though they already have it. The lower their self-esteem becomes, the more they spend. They are like balloons. The bigger they want to become, actually, the wider empty space they have. In reality, dopamine hormone, which makes us excited, is produced when we are shopping. And we can ignore the stress from working place and friends by concentrating on shopping. Although these facts, the happiness from overspending will disappear too easily. Third is looking down on other people. People with low self-esteem can't be satisfied by themselves. They love to compare themselves with others. And these two features make them look down on other people. They feel they are not by looking at others' faults. Of course, regarding ourselves as a good person is good. There's no harm by itself. But the problem is, they think like that only they found out others' weaknesses. In conclusion, they can't love others as much as themselves. Fourth is eating disorder. It is a kind of extreme bad effect of low self-esteem. According to German psychological experiment, anorexia is caused by low self-esteem. Anorexia is an eating disorder characterized by low weight, strong desire to be thin, and food restriction. The anorexia patients in experiment are falling into strong inferiority. They reward that disease by putting makeup more, fancy dressing up, and they pretend to be confident for hiding their anxiety. But in reality, they still have deep loneliness and fear about being abandoned. The extreme eating disorder needs not only efforts of themselves, but also proper treatment. This bad effect of low self-esteem also result to low self-esteem as a vicious circle. This vicious circle keeps repeating. Even if it seems hard to overcome this problem, yes, we should. How can we break out this vicious circle? Before talking about solutions, let's check out what makes us have low self-esteem. Many factors cause low self-esteem, but in reality, these factors come from comparing. Korean culture can be a good example for this. As you know, affection is a representative concept of Korean culture. So, we often pay attention to others and ask them about their private things. Of course, sometimes it is humanistic, and we feel being cared by them. But it's true that this Korean culture makes us sensitive to the eyes of others. So we have become afraid of being different or being inferior. In this process, we keep away ourselves from being different by comparing with others. Let me give you an example. There is a word called MFS and MFD in Korea. It is the abbreviation for mother's friend's daughter and mother's friend's son. According to our moms, their friends' sons and daughters are perfect. They are smart, beautiful, handsome, tall, and desirable with perfect personality. And it shows that many Korean children are pressured by their parents through comparing with other children. Of course, comparing with others motivates us in some positive way sometimes. And it seems inevitable in our lives. I also have compared myself with my friend who has perfect TOEIC score this morning. Even though now I'm talking about self-esteem here, the important thing is that you should pay attention if it is destructive comparing or not. Do you feel too depressed after comparing with others? If you do, you need to think about if it is destructive comparing. Destructive comparing is what makes your worth useless. And once you feel yourself is useless, it is hard to overcome that feeling. Just like when I gave up studying Chinese, the worth of your existence is not comparable. Stop negative comparison and respect yourself. Then, how can we respect ourselves? We have to know that mental strength is a lot like physical strength. So, if you want to be physically strong, you have to give up some bad mental habits. I want to give you 4 specific solutions for this. First, stop SNS. I have a Facebook friend whose life seems perfect. She lives in a gorgeous house and she and her family go on all exciting adventures every weekend. She's always posting about how blessed and how grateful she is for the life that she has. How many of you have kind of friend like that? And how many of you kind of don't like the person? We all do this, right? It is hard not to do. Researchers have found that envying your friend on Facebook actually leads to depression. Have you ever looked at your friend's life and thought, why do they have all the luck? You can't help thinking that way, right? Thank you. That way of thinking seems small at the moment. Actually, that way of thinking giving away your power. Second, give yourself time from being alone in every week. Being alone is one way of giving up comparing. Even though we want to stop comparing, if we were with too many people, it is hard not to do. Because some of them are always talking about me and others. But you have to know that it is not worth paying attention to that. because they are only gossip seekers. Although you don't have gossip seekers around you, it is important to be alone regularly. I go to cafe or just walking around by myself every weekend. And when I go outside by myself, I feel freedom. And I can concentrate on only myself. When I want to take a picture, I can do it without any considering about others. Third, make yourself apart from someone makes you depressed. Depression is like an addiction. Once you become depressed too much, it is hard to overcome that feeling. When I was 20, I have a friend, Christine. Back then, she had a low self-esteem too. Although I had comforted her every day, I started to become like her. After that, when our friend ignored our greeting mistakenly, we spent the whole day with useless worries. This problem was solved when I went to China to study by myself. And I could escape from someone makes me depressed more. And I think so did she. Fourth, do something realistic. No one can be compared with you aside from yourself. Look at her, please. We all know she has perfect body and beautiful appearance. And I'm shorter about 20 centimeters than her. But comparing makes me taller? No, I don't think so. It seems more realistic for me to wear heels or just give up being tall. What about studying? Comparing makes us smarter? No. It also seems more realistic for us to go to the cubicles. Just like comparing never makes us better. Only practical acting makes change. Knowing and doing is totally different. Knowing without doing is the same without knowing. And I bet doing something never betrays us, because at least it gives us some satisfaction for doing our best. In conclusion, maybe you already know all about this unconsciously. But as I told you, knowing without practice is the same with ignorance. I know someday I will lose my self-esteem again. So I want to remember how important self-esteem is when I lose it. And I hope you can remember this when you feel depressed. If you do that, you can say you got a lifetime friend. And that friend is exactly yourself. Our friends will encourage us during our lives. So I hope we can live respecting our friends. Today, I want to ask you, how is your self-esteem? Thank you.